Okay, so welcome back, and just done all the vacuuming, and there was quite a bit. Now we're left with what's left. So I've actually put brushes through all these vents with the vacuum, but you can still see there's a fair bit of stuff left in there, as there is on the console. That coin is stuck with liquid to the bottom, and in all the other little cracks and crevices there is stuff still stuck. Not uncommon, especially with a car like this. It's been probably dirty for 6 or 7 years, and the accumulated dirt just starts to basically grind in. And see the state of that door card over there. Haven't got to him yet, but he will come up soon. And so this is how I've done this before. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to do this, try and do this while filming. I will have to put you on pause for a second just while I prime my brush weapon of choice, which is this. It's actually an artist brush. You can buy them in packets of, I think, about 8 or 10, all different sizes. They're only about $7. So it's a cheap alternative to buying the more expensive detailing brushes. And I've got my Super Degrees. I'm actually going for the more potent 4:1 mix today, due to the fact that this is, I think it's going to be needed. As I said, there's a lot of stuff there, even around all the cracks and crevices. There's stuff just down there where my thumb is, all stuck in there. So anyway, I'm going to give you a look at how I deal with this all over the place. So I'm just going to put this down, prime my brush, and in we go. Okay, so here we go. I've also just grabbed a couple other quick tools that may help me along the way. We've all seen this before, the bamboo skewer. These things generally don't do any harm to any of the surfaces they touch. These things definitely don't. These are cotton buds. They're not bad for getting in here. And this last one, just got to be a wee bit careful. It's just a file, very thin. I've noted there's a couple of stubborn rocks and stuff that the bamboo skewer may not, they're good, but they're very soft, the wood. So one of the things I've noted over the years is that when you're doing vents, a lot of the dirt that accumulates in here is the man of the match dirt, basically. So it'll always be more accumulated in the corners, and it'll be thicker and harder to clean. So just noting that, and it's amazing that every one of these vents has got a broken lever. I'm just saying. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. So I forgot to prime my brush. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, the brush is primed. There is another thing that I am not scared to do, and that is to actually spray into the vents. I'll put it at a wee bit of an angle, so I don't get too much water in there, but I am not scared to spray in there. You'll see why in the end. So, alright, we have the brush. So this is what you do with the Q-tip. You just rub it back and forth on the sides there. That helps just dislodge that build-up dirt. You can see how dirty she's gotten. And so that's sort of like corner work there. Do it on the other side. Just gives you a head start on this because it's filthy. And you can just rub it along like that. There's no problem about that. That's another way to do it. Or you can get said brush and do it with him also. Oh, these things are a pain because they haven't got a lever. So down over here. Now there was some stuff right in the corner. You know, it'll probably be a pain in the ass. I'll get little old matey in there just to have a word with him. Like that. Get him out. Hopefully that's all I'll need there. So we're looking reasonably good there. I think I'm going to be happy with that. So then we go for the vacuum with the crevice tool. have a look at our work. Yeah, not bad at all. Now it's microfiber cloth territory. So you've got a little bit just in the corner here. The old microfiber cloth, just swing him over and boom, get him out. He's not a problem. Up there we've got just about all. You can see a little bit down the bottom. Little tiny bit. So in with old matey again. Just to dislodge him and bring him out. And what I recommend if you do that, just throw a tiny bit more liquid in there and stir him up with the liquid, and that allows the liquid and dirt to mix, and it is easier when the suction has better purchase to bring it out. Okay, so the next bit I'll do exactly the same on all this. I don't want to hold this and try to do it one hand, so I'll do it all and I'll just show you how dirty and filthy it all is. You just use the same method and I'll show you the results at the end. Okay, so while you're doing this, you may find that your brush gets full of all the contaminants that you've been cleaning. So this thing's just basically absolutely chock-a-block with sand, coffee. I'm not sure what else is in there, but it's full on. So I'll just show you what I do to clean it. Bear with me for a second. So basically what I do is I turn the vacuum on and stick it up in here, and I've just realised it's going to be very difficult to do while filming this, so I'll get my other camera. Okay, so welcome back. We'll just quickly have a look at how I've gone here. So here's the vents. Okay, this is stereo. We're just going to go down. So this is basically the first clean of a very, very dirty console. There is still some cleaning to be done, which I will explain. You can see just under there, I hope you can see it, there's a little bit, that brown bit just there. He needs to be cleaned still, but I'm just going to show you how we went. So there's still some vacuuming to be done to get these grains of sand. Well, I'll give you some tips. When you clean a car that hasn't been cleaned for 7 years, when you look inside and see all the dirt and everything, you are looking at a tip of an iceberg. All right, there is so much hidden dirt in these things; it's ridiculous. The next thing, we are basically dealing with what I describe as level 4 dirt. Level 5 is the highest, but this is level 4. So it's had 6 or 7 years of baking and attaching itself to all the surfaces. So you don't know what you're up against until you start to clean. So I started with the super degreaser. That worked well. You know, I started to get most of everything off until I got to the coin down here. And this is not unusual because sometimes it could be a gum substance or something that the degreaser, it may get there in the end, but I haven't got time for the degreaser to, spend 5 minutes working his way through it all. So I then bring the super secret weapon out, the Lemonine, and he gets through him pretty quickly. But yeah, so you sort of never know. There's so much gunk there. Sometimes one cleaner doesn't get it all. And if you think I just sprayed the stuff on and then just vacuumed it off and it all looked great like this, well, unfortunately, that's not reality because, no, I had to go over it a couple of times. There's still some work to be done in on these steel things. One of the things you find when you're using this method or when you're cleaning a fairly big area, the cleaner will dry, and to actually get it in there and get it working again, you just reapply it like I have there, and then you can work El Clotho over it, and there we have it. She's all clean. So that's what you do. So yeah, we're level 4 dirt. Don't be discouraged, just work your way through it. and it'll get it. As I said, this needs a tiny bit more work, but we're 90% of the way there. I'm happy with this. There's a couple of things I have to have a very good look at, make sure it's all done, but other than that, I'm declaring it. Alright, so I hope you learnt something from this. Okay, so here we are on the cleaning of the brush. So if you see that, she comes out absolutely magnificent clean. Just a little damp, but all the sand and all the crap that was in there is now out. So that's a way to clean this sort of